Hello everyone, I am Rachael Hutchins. I'm doing a little mini class today, so allowing for some time for people to hop on. I apologize, I'm a little bit late. I was helping with finishing up dinner and starting my boys' bedtime, so thank you for your patience while I hopped on. I'm so glad you guys are here. I am going to record this and leave it, so this will be replayed. If you're joining me live, give me a little hand emoji in the comments. Let me know you're here. If you're watching this on replay, I'd love if you did the hashtag replay in the comments so I can connect with you and acknowledge you. And so definitely do that. And again, I'm Rachael Hutchins. I am a birth doula. I am a childbirth educator. I'm a pregnancy coach. I'm the owner of Your Birth Site, and I lead this group, the Nurture Life community. I'm so glad you guys are here. If you're joining me live, give me a little hand emoji in the comments. If you're watching this on replay, give me the hashtag replay in the comments. I love to see who's here and connect with you even if you're watching it later. We'll get started in just a moment. Again, I am Rachael Hutchins. I am a birth doula. I am a childbirth educator and a pregnancy coach, and I'm the owner of Your Birth Site, and I help lead this group, the Nurture Life community. So that's me. And I do want to start by saying that I know a lot about birth, and I could talk about pregnancy and childbirth endlessly, and nothing is TMI for me. But I'll be the first to admit that I don't know everything, but I have the resources and the connections, and I know where to go find the answers. So if you have a question and I'm not able to immediately answer it, I will get you that answer, and I'll let you know, hey, I don't know all the information, and I'll get back with you if you put something in the comments and I'm not able to directly answer. But like to be forthcoming with you guys and just let you know what I can do and that I'll admit if I am unable to answer questions. So tonight is all about the 5 ways. These are the top 5 ways that I feel you can rock your birth. Childbirth education can be very in-depth and very detailed. Tonight I want to share with you just the 5 things that I feel like can really help if you're, trying to figure out where to begin or what's really most important. There's a ton to learn about, the physiology and the anatomy of childbirth and a lot of technical stuff, and I can help you with that. I have classes for that. But tonight I just really want to give you some simple tips and guidance to help you get started and help you rock your birth. I also want to let you know that I put all this information into a guide that you can print or save and keep with you. It's free. I will share that in this group at the end of this class, and it's like 7 pages. It's got all these tips I'm sharing, but a little bit more information. So I'm excited to be giving that to you guys tonight. Also, if you're with me live, I want you to definitely put your name or a little comment on this live video, because if you are here live and you comment, I'm going to enter you in to win 1 hour of my one-on-one pregnancy and childbirth coaching, and it's for free. So it's a value of $75, and we can pick. I have a list of topics. You can pick 3 topics, and you'll get 1 hour, and we'll dive deep on those. So be sure and give me a comment if you're here, and I'll enter you to win. And multiple comments get multiple entries. Again, that's 1 hour of my pregnancy coaching for free. So just want to share that with you. Okay, so who is this for? If you're a first-time mama or if you've already had a baby, this is for you. This is a great opportunity to get a foundation for having the birth that you want, for taking that step in the direction to have a safer, healthier, happier birth. So this is for first-time mamas, or if you've had a baby before, this is for you. This is important because the time during your pregnancy and your birth has the potential to last a lifetime. If you could choose your memory, wouldn't you choose a positive, empowering memory? So we know that that childbirth imprints on our DNA. It's pretty powerful. And it's a memory that we can relive over and over and over again. So why not choose, if you could, to take steps to ensure that that memory and that experience is positive and empowering and leaves you feeling confident and strong. You know, this sort of sets us up for how we parent. It can be an experience that transcends many experiences to follow. So this is important because it lasts beyond childbirth. It lasts beyond the day your baby is born, which is incredibly special and should be treated with the utmost respect and should be prepared for and, very intentional. But also there's so much that comes afterwards, and having a positive, empowering experience that's safe and healthy can transcend all of those experiences that come later after your baby's here. So it's important to me that I share this information with you so that you have the chance and the opportunity to have this experience, to have a positive, empowering, confident, safe, healthy pregnancy and birth. It's important to me personally because I have walked this same journey. I have been worried, I've been uncertain, I have felt unprepared, but I took steps. I aligned with an awesome birth team for both of my births. I had a doula and I had midwives and I had the right people around me, and I did research and I took a childbirth education class. You know, I really armed myself with as much as I could, and I was flexible. And, I say all that to just say I've been where you are or something similar, and I've been through that process. I've been on the other side and I've reaped the benefits. So it's important to me that I take that experience and I share it with you with some actionable tools that you can use to have the birth that you want. Because all of our births are going to look different. Like my birth might look different than yours, but it doesn't mean they can't both be empowering and confident and safe and healthy, right? So this isn't like it has to be one way or the highway type of thing. It just needs to be what you want. So if you want an epidural or you don't want an epidural, if you want a doula or don't want a doula, if you want to be in the water or you don't, all that matters is that you know your options, you know what is normal, safe, and healthy, and you know how to handle issues when they arise. You know how to ask questions. You kind of build that confidence up. So that's important to me. That's a little bit about why I'm doing this work and why I'm a doula and why I do education and why I do the coaching, because there's so much to learn and there's so many different things to consider, that having someone that you can trust and that you feel like understands you and to help kind of hold your hand or be in your back pocket or, be just a text or a phone call away to help answer your questions when you're feeling overwhelmed. I feel like I've experienced that. I've had those types of people in my life. And so I want to be that for you guys and for all birthing women who want that. You got to want it. And if you want it, I'm here. So I'm sitting on my yoga ball. So I'm kind of bouncing around. Again, welcome everyone. I'm Rachel. We're talking tonight about the 5 ways to rock your birth. If you are joining me for the live or for the replay, definitely give a hello or a hashtag replay in the comments. Again, I'm giving away 1 hour of my coaching services for free for anyone who joins live tonight. So be sure and comment that you're here tonight, and I will enter you to win that, and I will let you guys know after the live who won. So stay tuned for that. So what you need to know to kickstart you in the direction you need to go to have a safer, happier, healthier birth. That's what our goal tonight, right? So I'm going to go over 5 things and share a little bit about how I think they can be helpful in helping you have the birth that you want. So the first one is to understand what is happening on the inside. So during those last weeks of pregnancy, the baby is working to engage their head in your pelvis. And they can do that easier when they're in an optimal position. So if you hear someone say that, or if you hear me say it, I say it a lot, the best position for baby to be in for a smooth birth is on your left side with their head down, and with the kind of the back of their head facing more towards the front of you. This is the best position for baby to be in, and the baby will naturally get into this position during those last weeks of pregnancy. And as baby is getting into that position, you might have some contractions. When they're moving around and like trying to get their head down into your pelvis, you're going to feel some contractions, and it might feel like kind of pressury. This might hurt, make you feel like you have to pee. This can be all kinds of different sensations, but just know that this is the baby trying to get into the best position for the birth. To help keep and ensure baby gets into this position, you want to be active. You want to walk every day. Well, that was fun. You gotta love having technical difficulties. I apologize. Looks like I had a poor internet connection, so I lost you guys. So I'm starting again. I saved the other video, so that'll be on the page, and I can look back at that, and you can look back at it too. So here we go again. I was talking about understanding. This is number 1 of the 5 things. So understanding what is happening on the inside. So I was talking about the last weeks of pregnancy and how the baby's working to get into the best position possible. And to help with that, you can walk every day, do gentle stretches or yoga. Also sleeping on your left side with like a big pillow between your legs and in like an exaggerated lunge position. So that right leg, that top leg ends up kind of draping over the pillow in a lunge position. This can help ensure baby stays or gets into that ideal left side head down position. So those are a few things you can do, simple things. Also sitting on a yoga ball, like I'm sitting on one right now, a couple times a day, or if you're working at a desk, that can also help. That supports the pelvis and helps get the baby in a good position as well. So these are things you can do leading up to the birth. Also talking about understanding things that are happening on the inside. As labor starts and you begin to dilate, this is the beginning of labor, and this will feel like, you might feel nervous and excited and be wondering what's going to happen. I want to assure you and remind you that the first part of labor, that's 0 centimeters to 6 centimeters, can take 8 to 24 hours. It's the longest part of labor typically. And many women, when labor starts, they get excited and maybe want to rush to the hospital, and there's nothing wrong with that. Hospitals are safe, and that might be where you need to be. But the reason I share that is that it's encouraged to labor at home as long as you can, until you're in or approaching active labor, which is around 6 centimeters. The reason for that is that arriving at the hospital later in labor can reduce your chance of intervention that is unnecessary, and it can also reduce your risk of cesarean. So knowing that when labor starts, it might be a while, and that if it's not going to be a while and you feel like labor is picking up quickly, then that's great. You can head on to the hospital if it feels like it's time. And I have a whole section in my class on stages of labor and understanding that, but it's important just to talk about in this first point of my class is to understand what's happening on the inside, and that as labor is starting and your cervix is dilating and your uterus is starting to have more intense contractions that get more intense over time, as well as your birth canal is stretching open. These processes take time, and they can be very intense, and just trusting in that process and having the support and seeking the comfort measures that work for you to help facilitate that is really important. The other thing for understanding what's happening on the inside is to visualize your baby coming down and out. So as those contractions are getting more intense, you can tune in and think that with each contraction you're having, it's bringing your baby one step closer to you, and that when we understand that it is a process and that it might be like 2 steps forward and 1 step back, either way, it's bringing you closer to having your baby in your arms. So when we sort of can appreciate that process and know that it's not always fast and it's not always a path A to B, it might zigzag or turn or take longer than you might have thought, but that's normal, and that if anything arises outside of normal, you will have the care and support you need to make an informed decision, which we'll talk a little bit more about that later. So that was all about understanding what is happening on the inside. Next, the second one is move and change positions. So this is my number 2 way of sharing about how you can rock your birth and have a safer, healthier, happier birth. Number 2 is move and change positions. So every time you move, you change the shape of your pelvis. So whether it be walking or sitting on a yoga ball or doing some lunges or slow dancing with your partner or squatting, all of those things change the shape of your pelvis. And every time you change the shape of your pelvis, it helps the baby to engage and move further down and to help your cervix dilate. So movement is huge during labor. Being as active as you can during labor will make labor go faster and smoother. And I want you to also know that with or without an epidural. So a lot of things I just said apply to if you don't have an epidural, but I want you to hear me. If you want an epidural, that's great. That's your choice. You can still be active in labor with an epidural. So this is another reason this is super important. So if you don't have an epidural, you tend to move naturally. Like you have pain and sensations, and that guides your movement, you know. And if you don't have an epidural, you have to be a bit more intentional and conscious and have some effort towards staying active during labor. So what that looks like is laboring on your side and using a peanut ball. So if you're not familiar with a peanut ball, it's a yoga ball that looks like a peanut. Most hospitals have them. You want to check with your provider, make sure that you have access to one, or you can bring your own. And the best way to start is just labor on, you can pick whichever side you're most comfortable on, and you straddle, you put your legs, like you're lying on your side, and you put your legs with the peanut ball between them. So this keeps your hips open while you're laboring on your side. And what you want to do is change position every 20 or so minutes. So if you're on your left side, go to your right side and put the peanut ball in between. And you can just kind of go back and forth here for a while. Other things you can try with an epidural is with support from your doula or your partner, spouse, or a nurse, is you can get into like a squatting position in the bed using the squat bar. So again, this is part of the hospital bed, but you got to ask for it. Not all hospitals have easy access to it. So again, check with your provider, but almost all of them have a squat bar somewhere, but they just got to bring it in. So definitely ask for that. And you can get into like a supported squat using the squat bar, which is a fantastic way to labor. It's using gravity. You have your epidural, so you're managing the pain. And then the other thing is you can get into get over the back of the bed. So again, with support from your team, like your doula or the nurse, get your legs up under you and get over the back of the bed and like kind of hang over the back of the bed with some pillows to rest on if you want. This is great because you can kind of rest but still be in a gravity friendly position. So that's a term I use a lot. Gravity friendly, whether you have an epidural or no epidural, you want to be in gravity friendly positions and thinking about the pelvis and ensuring that you're keeping the pelvis open. So laboring on your back closes the pelvis by 30%. And this can the baby will come out, but this just makes labor take longer, and it can make complications arise. So if we can avoid being on our back, even if we have an epidural, labor will go quicker, smoother, and easier for you, I promise. So those are some tips for movement during labor. Stay active, work with gravity. With an epidural, without an epidural, there are options. So number 3, the third thing I want to share with you today is relaxation during labor. So this can look different for so many people. I think relaxation has a lot to do with what makes you feel relaxed. So some things you can think about are these are the 3 senses I say that you can think about in regards to relaxation during labor. And it is sight, scent, and sound. So think about those 3 things and then think about what helps you relax. So is it essential oils? Is it dim lights or twinkle lights in the dark, or maybe having affirmation birth cards hung around your birth space, and then sound like music. So first it's like quiet. Quiet is typically relaxing, but then maybe having music that you like, or audible like affirmations going in your ears. Those three things you want to address to ensure you stay relaxed during labor. So essential oils that I like to use with my clients are peppermint, that helps with nausea, and lavender, which helps just with relaxation. And my other favorite one is orange. It can be energizing and relaxing, and it just smells so fresh during birth. So those are three oils I usually have with me. You can bring them on your own or bring whatever you like. And if oils aren't your thing, maybe it's something else. So just think about those three senses and how you can address them during labor for relaxation. The other things I like to share are, so the two, I think, other big things you can easily do in any location with support or not is the one is breath, and two is creating your birth cave. So with the breath, the way I like to share it is the most relaxing breath that I can, like, that I think works best on laboring mamas is when you take a deep inhale for 4 to 6 seconds. So you're going to count it out nice and slow, deep inhale, and you kind of hold it at the top, and then a long, slow, heavy exhale for 6 to 8 seconds. And so my challenge to you is to practice that during pregnancy so that you can tap into it quicker when you're in labor. And what you want to do is you want to do that sequence 5 times, and this will help you become more centered and relaxed and focused, and just like kind of tune back inward. So sometimes in labor, when we feel panicked or out of control, we tend to kind of go outside of ourselves, and labor will go quicker and smoother and more easily when we tune inward. So that simple breathing technique can help significantly during labor. The other thing I wanted to share in regards to relaxation during labor is the birth cave. So this works great, especially in hospital births, where it can be very sterile, it can be loud, it can be bright. All these things tend to be off-putting when you're in labor. They tend to make us feel more stressed, make us tense up, make us maybe feel more fearful, and that just can halt labor altogether or slow it down. So I like to encourage mamas, again, labor at home as long as possible, and get to the hospital when you're really in active labor so that less things distract you. But at whenever point you get to the hospital, set up your birth cave. So you can do this in the main part of the room or in the bathroom. I love the bathroom. I've witnessed this work so many times, where you basically go into the bathroom with your doula or your partner or by yourself, and you turn off the lights, and you can take your music with you. You can run some water if that helps cancel out some sound. Maybe sit on the toilet if that feels nice. If I didn't say it, like, take your music and just go be by yourself. Because when it is quiet and we have privacy and we feel safe and we're in our like relaxed zone, our body will relax and open up. And this is what it takes for labor to progress. So think about it when you walk into a hospital, even now, or into a doctor's office, sort of the physiologic response that you have, you're going to have that tenfold when you walk in labor. So what can you do to set yourself up for success walking into the hospital? So it's going and saying, okay, once you get into your room, you know, husband or doula, like, we turn off the lights, you can set up all your things, or just go shut yourself in the bathroom. Obviously, this is all, of course, pending things are normal, healthy, and safe, and that this is, okay for your situation. But if things are progressing normally, this should be perfectly fine. So the birth cave is something I think is very cool, and it's just a mindset thing. And when we understand the physiologic response that our body has to stress, and how stress is directly related to slowing down of labor. The other cool thing with the birth cave in the bathroom is sitting on the toilet, which you probably have to sit there anyways at some point because you have to pee. I encourage you maybe just to hang out there a little bit longer, because when you sit on the toilet, it naturally relaxes your cervix because your sphincter is dilated. It's not dilated, is relaxed. And so there's a correlation between a relaxed sphincter and dilation. And when we sit on the toilet, we naturally relax our sphincter. So therefore, that helps our cervix dilate. The other thing is your jaw. So keeping your jaw open and relaxed. So there's a correlation between a tight jaw or a tense jaw and a tense, tight cervix. So relax that jaw, sit on the toilet, just get in your zone. And I promise it will help things go by faster. And that's what we want, right? Especially if we're not using any sort of pain medication. And if you are using an epidural and you can't get to the bathroom and create your birth cave, make the room your birth cave. Hang up your birth affirmations, dim the lights. Turn off everything, but maybe crack the bathroom door and let some light come through. Or if you have twinkle lights, again, that dim light, ask everyone to stay out unless it's absolutely necessary. Get your oils going, whatever it is. You can do that in the main part of the room or in the bathroom, whatever. And you can obviously do this at home or a birth center. But I think this works best for hospital births because that tends to be where women feel more stressed by the environment. Okay, so number 4 is to build your birth team. So birth team, I like to talk a lot about provider and birth location. So these two things combined are like the number one determining factor for birth outcomes. So they have the most impact on how it goes. So I like to put a lot of emphasis on when it comes to your birth team, choosing a provider who supports you, respects you, listens to you, answers your questions. If you identify any red flags or things that make you feel like, this isn't right, listen to that. Don't let that go, and it's okay to switch providers if you feel like the one you originally started with isn't meeting your needs. Having a supportive birth team, and especially a provider who is on board with your preferences, who doesn't dismiss your preferences, who listens and takes time with you, is super important because all of that will help lead to positive health outcomes. If certain things are happening and you're like, this isn't for me, then ask more questions. And if you don't get to a spot where you feel good about it, then, maybe seek a second opinion. The other thing is aligning yourself with people outside of your provider who support you. So obviously your spouse and partner are most likely in support of you, but it might mean having harder conversations with them if there are some misalignments in the partner's expectation and what you want, or the partner's fears and your fears. A lot of people assume that, my partner's fully on board, and when it comes down to it, there might be some discrepancies. And so I just encourage having conversations early and often and openly to ensure that they are fully on board and fully support your overall goals and can be there cheering you on and supporting you and advocating for you. So it's really important to have those conversations as well with your husband or spouse. Also, consider a doula. Consider employing or hiring a doula for that professional, experienced, trained sort of third party who can come in and provide continuous support, informational, emotional, physical support to help you through the laboring process, and can be that like relief for the kind of take some of the burden off of your husband, who everything tends to fall on their shoulders if it's just you guys. So bring in a doula. And I know not all places are allowing doulas right now. That's just such a tragedy. But you can still have a virtual doula, a distance doula, or, just prepare like basically for a do-it-yourself doula, which that is certainly a way to do it if a doula can't be present with you. So definitely options, but just thinking about what that looks like for you, thinking about, can I have that third person in there? If so, would that be beneficial to me? They call it the doula effect, and that continuous support from a trained professional such as a doula can significantly decrease your risk of intervention that is unnecessary, can decrease your risk of cesarean, can just increase the overall satisfaction with your birth. There's just so many benefits. Obviously, I'm a doula. This is something I care passionately about. And I think having a doula as part of your birth team, or really exploring what it looks like to have a virtual doula or a maybe DIY doula, just for that extra layer of support and protection during your birth. So number 4 was your birth support team, which is your provider, your birth location, your partner or spouse, and a doula. So those things make up number 4. And next I'm going to get into number 5. And it looks like a few more people have hopped on. So I just want to remind you, if you're here, give me a wave in the comments, because if you comment during the live, I will enter you to win 1 hour free of my one-on-one pregnancy and childbirth coaching, where we will go over 3 topics of your choice in depth. So I definitely don't want you to miss out on that. So be sure and give me a hand wave or a comment. And if you see this in the replay, give me a hashtag replay. All of that will count. So let me know in the comments who's watching. Okay, so I'm going to go on further into number 5. This is the last one of the 5 ways to rock your birth that I'll be sharing with you this evening. So this is be your own advocate. Seek out information. Ask questions. Do the research. Read the books. Listen to the podcasts. Look and search out those positive birth stories. Align with a doula. Like all of these things. Take the childbirth education class. Like all of this is you being your own advocate. This is your birth, and your birth matters. Knowledge is powerful, but applied knowledge is empowering. So we can consume knowledge all day, right? Or consume information, but it's what we do with it that really is the meat of this. And I encourage you, because I've been in your shoes. I've been overwhelmed. I've been uncertain and worried about what I was going to do. And so I just started gathering all the information, but then I put it into action. And this is me telling you to take that knowledge and put it into action. Do something next with this. Like you hear this, you've received this, now what? This is my call to action for you to be your own advocate. It means more than having a doula. It means more than your spouse being on board. If you are looking out for you, you are your number one, right? We all want to hope that we're choosing a provider that has our best interests in mind, but only you know what's best for you. Only you know what's best for you and your baby. Only you can ask the hard questions to your provider or to whatever, to whoever, to ensure that whatever's happening is safest and best for you. Birth plan. So part of being your own advocate, in my opinion, is having a birth plan. And there are lots of opinions on birth plans. I believe that the process of creating the birth plan has more impact and importance than the birth plan itself. So what I learned from my first birth was I had not even heard of a birth plan. And my doula shared with me like a template. And just going through that template and like filling it out made me ask, what is this? Like I didn't even know that this was a thing that would happen to me at the hospital. So what it did is, by needing to fill it out, it helped me explore what I wanted. And so I think that is the process that matters, is that you are now going and saying, okay, well, this might happen, or this is a thing they do. Do I want that? Do I have an option? What are my options, right? And so it just started the ball rolling, and then it just grew from there. So I believe fully in exploring the birth plan creation process. And if you don't end up finalizing a birth plan, like taking it to the hospital with you, that's fine. I do encourage you, though, to help you sort of understand all the various things that can happen, or that you have an option or choice in, that the birth planning process can help you with that. It's okay. It's 100% okay to have certain things that you want and don't want. Like it's okay to have birth preferences, because I feel like I hear a lot of mamas say, all I want is a healthy baby, safe and healthy. And I get that. That's what I want for you too. That's what I wanted for me. But that's not the only thing that matters. You can want and need certain things, and it's okay to ask for them. I'm just here to tell you that we don't always have to follow it up with, oh, well, I want this, but all I want is a safe and healthy baby, because that needs to be assumed. This needs to be like, of course, like that's what we're going for. Everything else is what we want on top of that or in line with that. And so I just want to encourage you to not be discouraged, to ask for the things that you want, and feel like they're silly if it means, having to someone else saying, well, all that matters is a healthy baby, right? I just want you to have that confidence to say yes, but my positive experience, how I'm treated, how I'm made to feel also matters. And obviously you want a healthy baby. Like, this is just assumed. So I want a happy, healthy, confident mama too on the other side of this. I want this whole process to lead to a healthy, safe baby and a confident, empowered, happy mama. Like, I think we can have both. I've witnessed it. I've experienced it myself. So that's one of my goals, to encourage you to go for that too. Knowing what is normal, safe, and healthy. So that's what I encourage you in your information gathering process, in taking the childbirth education class and hiring a doula. Learn about what is normal, safe, and healthy. Because when we know what is normal, safe, and healthy, we can easily identify what isn't and then handle it accordingly. And we will know what questions to ask. So part of the information gathering isn't to like control things. We gather information with the respect to the fact that we know things are going to arise. Things are not going to go to plan. So by knowing what is normal, safe, and healthy for all the stages and for, your situation, you can then easily identify issues and handle them accordingly. No one knows what is best for you besides you. You will feel more confident about your decisions when you have the knowledge and support you deserve during this transformational process. So one tool I like to share to help you be your own advocate is the acronym BRAIN. This is a great one. It's one of my favorite tools to share, and you can use it now for your prenatal appointments. You can use it during labor. You can use it after your baby is born with a pediatrician. You can use it anytime. It is simple. It's BRAIN. So benefits, risks, alternatives, intuition, and nothing. So this is like, write it on a card, put it somewhere easily accessible. So when you're in labor and they are proposing a test or procedure or want to do something that you're kind of like, not really fully understanding or on board with, I want you to go through these 5 questions. So what are the benefits of what you're wanting to do right now? What test, procedure, whatever it is, what are the benefits? What are the risks? What are the associated risks? What are the alternatives? So if we don't do this, what could we do instead? Are there less invasive or things we could try that are more holistic or non-drug or something before we try this other thing you're recommending? So what are the alternatives to not doing what you're offering? Are there any? Maybe there aren't any. But you should know what the alternatives are. Next is intuition. So what is your gut telling you? I want you to practice checking in with your gut on a regular basis. This process of pregnancy and birth is preparing you for motherhood and intuition. The more we can tune into our intuition and what it's talking to us about and what it's telling us, the more confident we will feel. And this will go through, this will transcend everything. You will feel this way. Like, the more we tap into our intuition, like, the easier it becomes to tap into our intuition down the road, is what I'm trying to say. So just do a quick gut check. What's it telling me, and try and let that lead where you want to explore next. And then the last is in for nothing. And this is basically like, is there an option to maybe forego what they're recommending and do nothing? If so, what are the risks and benefits of doing nothing? Can we wait 20 minutes, 30 minutes? Can we wait a day or two? If this is like early labor or something that occurs during pregnancy, like, can we wait a day or two? What are our options to wait? And I encourage mamas, I think something I have seen and do or tell mamas to try in labor is, if something is proposed and it is not emergent, you will know you will know if something is emergent. So that's like off the table. But if they are proposing something that's obviously non-emergent, and even if there is a little sense of urgency from their side, again, you're going to know if it's truly emergent. But they might come with a sense of urgency, but it not be a true emergency. There's a difference. But basically, ask for some time. Like, ask them they gave you the information, and then now you ask for some time. I need to think about it. I need to talk to my husband. I need to talk to my doula. I need to, think about this for a second. Just ask for some time. Like, can I have 20 minutes just to think about it? And they'll leave, and they may not come back for 45 minutes or an hour. And that's not a bad thing, because in that time you could dilate another centimeter or two, and you might not even need that thing they were recommending. Like, and if it's emergent, they come back. Like if there's something real urgent, they'll be right back. But if they don't come right back, that's not a bad thing. Like, how many times can you say, well, can we wait 20 more minutes? Can we wait there? You know, like, and that can help you get further along in labor. So that acronym is super helpful. Again, that's BRAIN. This will help you have informed and shared decision making. So when you're asking these questions, it's creating a dialogue. It's letting you have all the information and then letting you make a decision. And I'm telling you, that type of power, that type of empowerment feels amazing. So no matter what occurs during your birth, when you get on the other side of it, you will feel good about your experience. So when I talk about everything I talk about, it's not like, oh, if you don't go all natural, or if you do X, Y, and Z wrong, that you won't feel this way on the other side. All I'm telling you is if you do these simple things, as far as like asking those questions and like ensuring you have the information and that you are the one making the decision, no matter what happens, you will feel amazing on the other side. You'll be like, I did everything I could to advocate for myself, to ask the questions, to have the birth I wanted, and certain things arose and I handled them as they came up. And then we kept on going, and my baby's here and he's safe and healthy and all is well. So I just want to encourage you to be your own advocate. That was number 5. So these things, everything I'm sharing with you here, are things that I have discovered through my own pregnancies and births, through my years of work as a doula, and my certifying to be a childbirth educator. Like, all of this has put me where I'm at right now. And these things I just shared with you are things that have helped me personally in my own experiences and as a professional. And so it's this wonderful marriage of real life experience and professional. And I just hope that you find these things helpful. There are so many things to talk about around birth. These were the 5 things that I felt like were on my heart and most important that I wanted to share with you. There's obviously tons more to learn, but hopefully you found those 5 things helpful and beneficial. And I hope you trust me when I say that these things can 100% benefit you and your baby and your birth in many ways. So, oh yeah, okay, so that was sort of the end of it. Hello everyone. If you are watching, be sure and say hello and give me a little comment in the comments, and I'll enter you to win 1 hour of my coaching, which we can cover 3 main topics of your choice. The other thing is I put this little mini class into a guide. It's a 7-page guide that sort of expands on each of these tips that I just shared with you. And I put that together for you guys to have for free. So I'm going to post the link to that in the group when we're done with the live, and I want you to go get it. It's awesome, and I think you'll find it really helpful. So the last thing was the giveaway, and I already mentioned it. So if you put a comment in, I will enter you to win that 1 hour of my coaching for free. That's all I have. If anyone has any questions, I can take those, and otherwise, I'll look forward to seeing you guys during my next live. Have a great evening. Bye, guys.